Okay, so now that we've got the technical difficulties worked out, should we get started off? I think we have a couple of viewers over in YouTube, so at least they'll get the gist of it. Let me. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I think we can run through this in about 10 minutes or so. So the idea of this whole broadcast is to basically just give an overview of what ci.centos.org is and give you a little bit of an idea of where to go from here. So really, we want as many people as possible. Whoever decides to come and verify their stuff on CentOS, we're targeting that demographic. So we've got upstream projects that are looking to verify against us. You get the general project tests, whatever unit tests that you're running, anything like that. You get that basically for free because your test suite is running against CentOS, and you get that verification there. And then another important part of ci.centos.org is the fact that you can, as a special interest group in the CentOS.org ecosystem, you have a place to test whatever it is that you're going to deliver. So the special interest groups go out and they want to sorry about that. So the special interest groups are out there, and their goal is to release some sort of thing out to the community, whether that be a set of RPMs, a set of containers, whatever that is. And ci.centos.org is a good place to go ahead and test those deliverables and then gate the release on the results of those tests. And I know KB has been doing a little bit of work in the atomic host space as far as gating release to his deliverables. So that's one important thing that people do with it. How it works. Basically, you have a set of bare metal machines that are, we have a whole bunch of chassis that are in a data center that are provisioned on demand. So it's a full-fledged physical machine that gets provisioned with CentOS 5, 6, or 7. And then we've got a little bit of middleware that actually does the provisioning and then makes sure that all the right SSH keys get added to the right places and all that stuff. But then Jenkins actually manages the jobs, and it's a pretty good stack to do, because you have the programmability, I guess you could say. So you can request however many machines it is that you need, and then have Jenkins actually do the orchestration that's needed to get your test suite, get um, your project, whatever that is, and do the verifications against them. We also have, at the end of the day, when you're done with your tests, you can actually, a lot of people during that process will actually create some sort of artifact. So again, going back to the atomic host example that KB is working on, once all of that's done, if you're building artifacts during the test process, you need some place to store that. So you have a place to go out and push those if you need to. So and that's all public to the world. You can go to ci.centos.org/artifacts to see all of that. There's a lot of overview information that you can find under the QA Wiki CI path on wiki.centos.org. A lot of that goes through the explanation of how exactly the middleware works, what it is that we sort of provide to people. We even have a little bit of an architecture in there, architecture diagram that you can see how everything works and go from there. And so probably the biggest thing that we wanted to point out with this presentation was how to get started, but also talk a little bit about the way that the project structure works. So if you want to, again, if you want to take a look at the front page, it's just ci.centos.org. And then to join, you'll want to request an individual account at bugs.centos.org. Now, a little bit about individual accounts versus project accounts. So in our Jenkins interface, if you go out and look through all of the jobs there, each of the jobs is tied to a specific project. And we did that for a number of reasons. The easiest of which is to say that the projects, it's easier to sort by a project and have a bunch of people who are members of that particular project and working on all of those jobs. So if you're a new project, let's say you're an upstream, an upstream piece of code that you want to run your tests on ci.centos.org, there's actually two steps. The first is you'd file a bug at bugs.centos.org telling us a little bit about your project and what it is that you'd like to test. But then we also need an individual account to tie you, the individual, to that particular project. So if you're looking to contribute to a project that's already existing, go ahead and file a ticket at bugs.centos.org and let us know what project you're working on. For really anything that we do, we're going to need an SSH key, because what that gives you is that gives you access to a little bit of workspace on one of the virtual machines that we use as the Jenkins slave, so where all of your jobs are orchestrated from. And then it also gives you access to that workspace where we'll store some of your credentials for actually creating the jobs and getting in on some of those machines. So again, if you're interested in starting on a project, let us know what you're working on. If it's, I would suggest starting at the front page, the ci.centos.org Jenkins interface. That'll give you an idea of what's already out there and sort of give you an idea of what projects are working. And then again, hit up bugs.centos.org whenever you're ready to start your individual account. So that was a really high-level 10-minute overview of, which I think only took about 5 minutes. I'd like to take the rest of the time until the top of the hour. If anyone has any questions or any other comments, now would be a good time to ask them. Go ahead and type your question, Dusty, and we can get that in. Yeah, we sure can. We can show you a little bit about how the jobs work and sort of where those are. Let me switch over to a different window. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so this is basically the front page. Um, what you'll do, let me see if I can log in here. Oh, I don't know if I have my password set up. Um, yeah, so this is a list of all the jobs that are available, and you can see here at the top of the screen you have them separated out by the individual projects. So we have Atomic App has a few jobs here, and the CentOS team has some, and the QA team has some, all of that stuff. Each of these individual jobs has a definition. And if you can give me just a minute, I'm gonna grab my password and see if we can get something going here. Okay, let's see if we can see this. So in the job definition here, basically the way that this works is you have a whole bunch of separate options that you can do. Um, you want to set up, your project name, and then whenever you actually request a project account, we'll set you up with a set of labels and a Jenkins slave that you can work on. This right here is how you actually restrict a job to an individual slave. So we have the Atomic App slave that handles all of the Atomic App jobs, and then so each job is labeled in order to go to that particular slave. So you can trigger on a number of different things. You can trigger on whenever a build happens, whenever a commit happens. You can watch a a URL here. A lot of people do that to whenever things get updated in CVS, they can kick off tests and all that stuff. And then you have a set of test definitions, and basically there's a let's see if we can head to KB's GitHub. KB has a set of scripts here that are actually you can just copy and paste this into the job definition. So there's an API key that will give you to actually go ahead and request a whole bunch of the bare metal machines. And this script right here will actually go out and do whatever request it is that you need and then run your scripts. So this is a good place to get started. If you're sort of new to testing and stuff like that, this would be the place to start. So this would be, you can see that line in there where it actually SSHs into one of the provision nodes and then runs some sort of test runner script. And that could be anything. You could run, PEP8, you could run nose tests, you could run, I'm forgetting what the stuff is for Java. Any of that you could run from this particular script, and you just plug in your API key and tell it how many machines you need, and it'll go and do the right thing. So, does that sort of answer some of your questions about what the interface looks like? And okay, what other questions do you have? I think in a couple of weeks, we'll have a better overview, and I'll fix these technical difficulties that we had with Google Hangouts, so it'll be a little more smooth in a couple of weeks. But would it help if we showed off like a test job or something like that in a couple of weeks? Okay, yeah, I'll see if I can put something together, and we'll sort of go from there. And Dusty, yeah, I got your bug request. I think so going back to the bugs.centos.org thing, if you are a member of a SIG, it's a good idea to go ahead and see if you can find your SIG chair to actually go and +1 that bug. We try and do just a +1 type of thing on each of those bugs so that we can make sure that we have just an audit trail of all of the stuff that we've done. If you're working with another project, get the project lead to go in and do a +1. So Dusty, I'll make sure that we track that down for you. So it'd be, yeah, anyone in the chair group, I believe, can +1 those requests. So, or KB can go ahead and do it, which it looks like he's volunteering to do. So, all right. Other questions? Cool. Well, I kept you guys 3 minutes past, so I'll let you all go. Thanks for coming out and taking a look at ci.centos.org.